back, Undertakers. I'm glad you could join me today, and I hope you brought your sweet tooth with you, because this is going to take care of that for you. That's right, we're going to be making peanut butter cups. You know, the chocolate with the peanut butter inside. You know. They're real easy. I wish I would have known a long time ago how easy they were. We just need a little bit of chocolate, some peanut butter, a little bit of butter, some powdered sugar. That's it. And then to form them, we're going to need some of these little cups, these little paper wrappers, you know. I bought these at the grocery store, just a few bucks. They're easy to find, they're everywhere. And then I've got a little mini muffin tray. And they're all over too. I picked this up at a yard sale for $1 or $2, so they're easy to come by. So, and if you don't have one of those, don't let that stop you. I'm sure these would work if you just had the paper. It would probably hold together enough. This is just a little chocolate and peanut butter in there. Now, as far as the ingredients go, you want to find yourself a good chocolate, something that you would like to sit and just eat by itself. So don't buy that cheapy stuff, you know, stuff that's more wax than chocolate. Ugh. So get something good. Today I'm using these little individual snack chocolate bars, and they were individually wrapped, so I sat here and unwrapped each one individually and stacked them up here. Only because my store had them on sale from leftover from Halloween, so I got them really cheap, so that's what I'm using. In the past I've used Easter bunnies that were left over. So any good chocolate you can get your hands on is going to work. The peanut butter, I'm using store-bought peanut butter, and I'm using the smooth. If you want to use chunky, you can. And I'm just using the store-bought instead of making my own, because that's going to give these the taste more like the, you know, the name brand than if I made the peanut butter myself. And then the butter and powdered sugar, whatever you have on hand. And then to melt the chocolate, we're going to need a double boiler. That's real easy. I've got a large bowl. I popped a little bit of water into it. We'll get to that here in a second. And then the other ingredients, we're just going to need a little bowl to mix them up. So it's real easy. Let me show you how we're going to get this done. Okay, now I like to start with the peanut butter filling. That way once we melt the chocolate, everything's ready to go. I don't want to melt my chocolate and have it sit here getting gross and solidifying again while we're putting this together. Now again, this is great because we're not going to measure anything. Now the peanut butter, it takes less than you think. The first time I made this, I had a big rubber spatula. I pulled like 1/3 of the jar out, and I had enough to make probably 5 batches of this stuff. So you just want to take out a nice spoonful like that. And again, we're not going to get too crazy with measuring it. Then I've got about, this is like a pat of butter. It's less than a tablespoon, maybe half a tablespoon of butter. And we're going to put that in there. And again, the measurements don't have to be exact. As long as you've got some peanut butter and some butter, we're just going to mix that together. Now our powdered sugar, we're not going to measure that either. Reason being is this can vary depending on what type of peanut butter you have, how much butter you put in there. I would guess that probably the humidity wherever you live would affect this. Basically, we're going to add powdered sugar and mix it into the peanut butter until it gets to a consistency where we can pick it up with our fingers and it doesn't stick to us. That's what we're looking for. And so that may be a little different for me than it would be for you. So we're going to shake some in there. And you'll know when you get there, you'll be able to easily handle this with no problem. Alright, there's our 4th edition of powdered sugar. Alright, now I think we're getting pretty close. See, it's not sticking when you touch it. So now I can pick the peanut butter up. I can form it into a little disc, and it's not sticking to me. So that's what we're looking for. Now, when it comes to the chocolate part, I like to cut my chocolate up just so it melts a little more even, and I'm not sitting there waiting for big chunks to melt. That's how I like to do it. If you have a way that you like to melt it, use your way. This is how I do it. Now, whether you want to do it beforehand or after you cut it up, we're going to separate about 20% of this chocolate off to the side and not put it in our bowl and melt it right away. And I'll show you why here when we get there. Alright, so now my chocolate's all cut up, and now I'm going to separate it. Let's see. There's about half. Alright, so there's about about 20% of our chocolate I'm going to save. We'll add that after the rest of this melts. And basically what we're doing is like a cheating version of tempering our chocolate. If we didn't do that, if we just melted all this chocolate and poured it into our little cups and made our cups out of it, our peanut butter cups, what would happen is when you went to eat them, the chocolate would melt really easy when you touched it. It wouldn't be very shiny. It would have sort of that dull finish to it, and it's just not as nice. Now, tempering chocolate for real is a much different process, but doing it this way, it will make our chocolate still stay shiny, and you'll be able to touch it without it melting right away on you. So this is sort of a cheat way to do it. So now we just need to take our chocolate, put it in our bowl. Okay, now I've got our bowl over top of a little pot. I've got just a little bit of water, there's like an inch of water in there, and I've got us over medium heat. Now the only way you can really mess this up is if you get water in here, which has happened to me before, and you'll know it just from the steam coming up the side. If it starts steaming up the bowl and a little bit of water rolls in there, your melted chocolate is suddenly just going to turn into one big hard lump of chocolate yuck, and it's done. There's nothing you're going to do to fix that. So I like this bowl because it has a little lip on there which kind of forces the steam off, and it helps a little bit. And basically just keep an eye on this, and nothing's going to happen right away. So just keep an eye on this, and as it starts to melt, just keep stirring it until everything's melted, and then we're going to pull it off and add our other chocolate that we saved and mix into there. Alright, now after about 3 minutes, I'm just starting to get some of the chocolate melting there in the bottom. Alright, here we are. It's about another 2 or 3 minutes later. You can see the chocolate's really melting now. And now's the point. We want to be really careful. See, I've got some steam coming up here. You do not want that getting in your chocolate. But here towards the end, you can kind of see what I mean. Once it starts to melt, it goes pretty quick here at the end. Alright, once we're melted, we're going to get this off the heat and add the rest of our chocolate to this. Alright, so we've got our freshly melted chocolate. Now this is how you sort of do a cheat tempering, because the unmelted chocolate is already tempered. So when you add that to the melted chocolate, it helps the chocolate that's already melted realize and sort of come together and temper it itself. It sounds kind of stupid, I know, but it works. Alright, now this part's simple. Now I've just got a regular teaspoon here, and I'm just going to put about 1 spoonful in each cup here, and just try not to make a mess and drizzle chocolate everywhere. It doesn't have to be perfect, because we'll come through here in a minute when these are all full and we'll even the chocolate out. Alright, so now a minute or so later, all our cups have a scoop of chocolate in the bottom, and you can see they're lumpy and everything. So we're just going to give them a shake and a tap, and that easy. Now our chocolate's all laying flat in there. Now we just want to go over here to our peanut butter. And I like to make just sort of a little disc of peanut butter like that. And it doesn't look like much, but these are small. I'll lay them in there. And I like to make sure the peanut butter doesn't touch the side of the cup. That way when you take the paper off, you don't see peanut butter. So just make your little peanut butter discs and lay them in there. Alright, now we're all peanut buttered up. And you can see with the amount that we started with, we came out just about right. So there's just enough left there for a nice little snack. And now, we just come back and cover them up. And it'll take a little more chocolate to cover the top than it did to coat the bottom, and that's okay. And basically just go around, fill them up, and it's going to be hard to tell until you shake this. And then you'll notice if you see some peanut butter sticking up in the top or a lump, you'll know just add a little more chocolate to that particular cup. Okay, now once we top them all off, we're going to do like we did when we had the peanut or our chocolate in the bottom. We just want to give this a little jiggle and settle all our chocolate. And now we'll be able to tell we do have some chocolate left. So some of these ones where you can see there's a little hump there where there's Still some peanut butter and not enough chocolate. We'll just go back and top them off. And now they're all topped off. You can see our chocolate worked out perfect. I mean, I can scrape just a little out of there, but not much. So once they're all filled up, there's one last step. We have to put these in the refrigerator for about maybe a half hour, let them set up so that we're able to take them out and try them out. Alright, so after about an hour, here they are. They're still a little soft. They're melting pretty quick on me here, but they have firmed up, so you know they're edible, but they need to cool down a little bit more. But there you go. So these are very good. Almost, but not quite exactly, but pretty darn close to the store-bought kind. But you saw it was really easy to do. There's nothing to it. You can even customize these up and have fun with them. You know, you can take the peanut butter, divide that in half, put some food coloring in there, make 2 different colors for your favorite sports team, and make these and put them out next time you have some people over watching the game. That would be interesting. Maybe take some of those crispy rice treats, maybe sprinkle some of those on top, or mix in with the peanut butter, something like that. You can make the peanut butter red for Halloween, put sprinkles on top, all sorts of stuff you can do to have fun with these. So I hope you give them a try. There's really nothing to it, only a few ingredients, and they're really, really good. So if you try them, well, let me know. I know you're going to enjoy them. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.